Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Picture Perfect Health. Today I will be demonstrating how to make Malt-O-Meal bread. I use the ingredients, or the measurements rather, that is on the box, on the side of the box of the Malt-O-Meal, only the dry ingredients. I make a few adjustments with this recipe, and if you follow along, it's really simple and easy. But it makes a softer bread. It won't be so tight. So what you would need, the box tells you need 1 1/2 cup of flour. I use that, and I use 3/4 cup of Malt-O-Meal, which I already have measured out and put in the bowl. And you need a heaping tablespoon, which is 2 heaping teaspoons of baking powder. The baking powder you would want to use is aluminum free. You should try to use aluminum free baking powder. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it for your health's sake. You don't want to use the aluminum. You want to try to stay away from any products that have aluminum in them. So I've measured out already a heaping tablespoon of aluminum free baking powder, and I've used a level teaspoon of baking soda. And so what I'm going to do, if you can see that, I'm going to add that right into the bowl. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to take a large spoon, and I'm going to mix that all together, and make sure that if you have any lumps or clumps in there, you want to try to get those out, but you want to get a good mixture going on. Mix that flour, mix that Malt-O-Meal, the soda, and the baking powder all together. So we're going to mix that. And I know that the saying is for baking, you know, everything should be room temperature, which is usually how I bake. But what I've discovered for this recipe, the bread that I'm making here, you can use it straight out of the refrigerator. It doesn't have to be room temperature. I found that if it's straight out of the refrigerator, it makes a much better bread to me. But you can experiment with that if you like. But just for me, that's the way I like to do that. Now, that you are going to add is 2 1/2 cups. That's about 2 1/2 cups of heavy whipping cream. Okay, I know this is 2 cups, but I filled it up just a little bit more, almost to the top, which makes about 2 1/2 cups. So I'm going to pour the 2 1/2 cups of heavy whipping cream into the bread, the Malt-O-Meal and the flour mix, and I'm going to stir that in together. It's going to become kind of thick and kind of clumpy. Don't worry about that, because you're going to even all that is going to smooth out. Okay, right now you can see that it's clumpy, just like I said, become kind of stiff. So what you're going to do now is add 5 eggs to your mixture here. And once you finish, you're going to see that this bread is going to have a very moist cake-like texture to it, which is the type of bread my mom used to make, but only she used cornmeal. And I don't use cornmeal. Cornmeal does not dissolve. It's very hard on the stomach. And you know, you develop gallstones from food that does not dissolve. Okay, so we're going to mix those eggs in there. As you see, it's going to start getting kind of loose. We're going to mix that in there. Okay, you have the eggs in there. And you really shouldn't try not to eat fresh baked bread, the bread that you cook that same day. You need to let it set a day, in the next day eat it, because bread tends to rise again in the stomach. Okay, this is a cup, a half and half. You're going to add that a little at a time until you get it loose enough. If you need a little bit more half and half, then that's fine. But you're going to stir it until it loosens up a little bit. Loosen up your batter. Get that mixed in. Not thick, as loose as I want it. So I'm going to add a little bit more of heavy whipping cream. You want to add more heavy cream than, yeah, you want to add more heavy cream than half and half. So that's half and half I'm pouring in. You don't want it too thin. You want it just the right consistency, and I will be showing you. You can get a good view of it right here. All right, see how creamy that is? And this is absolutely delicious bread. Now my family like sweet bread. I have to tell them that it's not cake, but it's bread, but they like it sweet. So what I add is brown sugar. I don't add white sugar. I try not to cook with white sugar. I really don't cook with white sugar. All of my desserts and my breads, I use brown sugar, and more videos will be coming soon featuring some of my desserts with the brown sugar. As you can see, that's coming out just about right, and I want to add the rest of the half and half to that. The brown sugar, I don't know how much sugar you would like in your bread, but just like I said, I know my family, they love a lot of sugar. So we're going to add about a fourth of a cup, no, about a third of a cup, and I know what I'm dealing with, of sugar to the bread mixture. And I'll look and see. I really don't think that that's enough. And I'm going to add another third of a cup, but this is to your taste. As much sugar as you want, that's to your taste. I think that ought to be just to give it a little bit bread, a little taste to it, a little sweetness to it. And we're going to stir that in. Now, the next thing you're going to add is about 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, or you can use safflower oil. And you're going to add a tablespoon of that to your bread mixture. And you're going to mix that until it blends in. That looks just about right. So what you're going to do is get your pan, your Pyrex pan here, and you're going to pour in your bread. I bake all of my breads, my pies, my cakes, whatever it is I'm baking. I don't bake it on 375. I bake it on 275. 275 is a slow bake. That's a good bake. It gives that heat a chance to travel through what you're cooking before it starts to brown on top. You get that heat on the inside, and then it starts working its way out. Then you start getting the browning on top. But you don't want to cook that bread too fast. You don't want it to get brown on the outside before it actually gets done on the inside. So this is why I bake at all of my breads, cakes, pies at 275. Okay?